Never. Thankfully, this idea has died down a lot recently. In the last couple of years, anime has become a lot more mainstream. Well, at least in the West, lots of animes are trending and being talked about more frequently than ever. And with content creators and celebrities talking about them as well, it's being a lot more well received. Even in my day-to-day life, it feels like it's being talked about way more. In my school, a lot of people you wouldn't even really imagine watching anime started to talk about them too. A few years back, at max it was probably only 5 to 10 people who watch anime, or at least felt comfortable talking about it. But now you walk the hallways and hear people talking about the latest episode of X and Y series. It's two elements that had caused this sudden spike in anime being talked about way more in the West. One is what I already mentioned about influencers making it more mainstream. People see others they follow online talk about it and probably decide to give anime a chance, and then that ends up being their gateway into watching more series. The other element that causes probably branches off the first one. It's the fact that people have started to become a lot more comfortable talking about anime. Up until very recently, it was almost unanimously agreed upon that watching anime was lame. No one liked to talk about it or mention that they ever watched it. Besides conversations I had with my friends, it was extremely rare to find a person who watched anime, and it's probably not due to the fact that they all just did not watch any. I would be willing to bet that a decent chunk of those people were just not willing to openly admit it. There was this huge generalization of people who watch anime, that if for some reason you like to watch anime, that equals being weird. And I'm not gonna lie, there are a few cases of people who watch anime that also happen to be weird at the same time, but that's in the very small minority of people. It's mostly due to the fact that people see anime as childish. Whenever people see anyone talk about anime, and they themselves have never watched any, from what I noticed, a good chunk of those people start to look at them differently, and if it's from the perspective of animes being childish, I can definitely see why. If I ever saw a grown adult talking about Paw Patrols passionately, I would give them a weird look too. That's probably how most people see anime fans, but people with this mindset overgeneralize heavily, and because of this they just assume that all shows are childish, which brings me back to the title of the video. I don't think there's ever a time a person can grow out of anime. I mean, if a person stops watching series in general, then yeah, they kind of grew out of it in that sense. But people don't grow out of anime with the reason being that they think they're too old for it, because in reality there's no age demographic. Anime is a really big umbrella term for lots of series, but when people think of anime, they only think of a specific genre, usually shonen anime like Naruto or Dragon Ball. Shonen itself is a pretty big umbrella term, because not all shonen are about fighting. Most of the popular ones are, but there's also a lot that aren't. It just goes deeper and deeper when you see what kind of series are out there. Shonen animes in general are usually meant for teen audiences, but even in that specific genre, there's a range to it. There are series that appeal to younger teens, and then there's the more story-heavy ones that appeal to mostly older audiences. Like if you take a series like Chainsaw Man, you would probably never guess it being in the shonen category. There's no definitive age group for anime in general. It appeals to all audiences in their own specific genres. As long as I'm still consuming media, I see myself still watching anime, which probably sounds pretty weird if the only concept of anime you have is Naruto. But there's a series for literally any type of genre you could imagine. There's sports anime, romance anime, thriller, sci-fi, battle animes, and comedy. Even ones that try to be historically accurate, like Vinland Saga or Kingdom, with all of them having specific series that serve specific age groups. Literally any genre you would find on Netflix or Hulu, or any streaming platform, would have its own anime. I haven't really watched anime for that long either, at least relative to some other people you can find. I only started watching anime in the summer of 2016. I mean, I technically watched my first anime in like 2010. Whenever Attack on Titan first came out, I saw my sister watching it, so I decided to watch it along with her. But for some reason I was pretty bored. There was a lot of talking from what I remember, which is pretty weird because season 1 definitely had action in it. I just wanted to see Titans fight each other and stuff. I didn't really care about the political side of it. I wasn't really paying attention, so I forgot pretty much everything. I had to rewatch it whenever the second season for Attack on Titan came out. That and Tokyo Ghoul were the animes I remember watching before 2016. But I didn't watch anime at all besides those two series. I still mostly watch regular cartoons on Cartoon Network and Disney Channel. So only 6 years since I really started watching anime. but it didn't feel like it was more common to find people who watch anime until probably 2018 or 2019, mostly due to probably Demon Slayer and Jujutsu Kaisen. Those series alone aren't what made it more popular to watch anime in general, but they had a pretty big part of making it more mainstream. It probably first started out with Attack on Titan, to be honest, because that series really did blow up when it first came out, but it didn't do enough to make it as mainstream as it is now to like anime. It was the one that started it, but it wasn't until other series started to come out that it became more popular. Share this with a friend that doesn't watch anime to try and see if it convinces them. That's pretty much all I had to say though. If you enjoyed, like and subscribe for future content. Peace.